Queen Amanda Martinez gripped the armrest of her command chair as the massive dreadnought USS Liberty shuddered under enemy fire. The bridge lights flickered red as another plasma blast struck their shields. She could see the burning wreckage of 3 destroyed alien vessels drifting past the main view screen, their twisted metal hulls glowing like dying embers against the black void of space. "Status report," Amanda commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos of battle stations' alarms. "Hull integrity at 70%, Lieutenant Commander Ryan Thompson called out from his tactical station. "The Zephyrian fleet is retreating, but they left behind a debris field spanning 12 kilometers. Amanda stood from her chair, her royal blue uniform bearing the insignia of the human colonial empire. At 34, she had earned her crown through military service, not birthright. The scars on her left hand from the Battle of Proxima Station served as constant reminders of the price of leadership. "Begin search and rescue operations," she ordered. "Any survivors from those ships need immediate assistance." "Ma'am, with respect, the Zephyrians were trying to kill us 5 minutes ago," said Commander Lisa Phillips from the navigation console. Amanda turned to face her bridge crew. "The fighting is over. These beings may have been our enemies, but wounded survivors follow the laws of space warfare. We help them." The massive human dreadnought moved slowly through the debris field. Twisted chunks of alien metal drifted past the view screen like metallic icebergs. The USS Liberty's powerful searchlights cut through the darkness, illuminating the devastation of the recent battle. "I'm picking up a faint energy signature," reported Ensign Kevin Brooks from the sensor station. "Bearing 27 Mark IV. It appears to be a small escape pod or emergency vessel." Amanda walked closer to the main screen. "Put it on visual." The image shifted to show a small, wedge-shaped vessel tumbling slowly through space. Its hull was scorched and cracked, with atmosphere venting from multiple breaches, but lights still flickered weakly along its damaged surface. "Life signs?" Amanda asked. "Detecting one humanoid life form," Brooks confirmed. "The readings are weak but stable. Tractor beam, bring it into Cargo Bay 3, Amanda ordered. She turned to her first officer. "Lisa, assemble a medical team and meet me down there." "Amanda, this could be a trap," Lisa warned, using the Queen's first name as was permitted among her senior staff. "Then we'll be ready for it. But I won't leave someone to die in the cold of space." Dedicated toward the exit. "You have the bridge." The cargo bay hummed with activity as the damaged alien vessel was carefully maneuvered inside. Medical personnel stood ready with emergency equipment, while security teams positioned themselves around the bay. Amanda arrived just as the bay doors sealed and atmosphere was restored. The alien ship was smaller than she had expected, roughly the size of a shuttle. Its design was elegant despite the damage, with flowing curves that seemed almost organic. Strange symbols were etched into the hull, glowing faintly with residual energy. "Atmosphere inside the vessel is toxic to humans," reported Dr. Patricia Hayes, the ship's chief medical officer, "but there's definitely someone alive in there." Amanda approached the damaged craft. Through a cracked viewport, she could see movement inside. "Can we establish communication?" "Working on it," said communications specialist Tony Walsh from his portable setup. "The universal translators are having difficulty with this dialect." Suddenly, a sound emerged from the damaged ship. It was unmistakable even through the static and interference. Someone was crying. The sound was heartbreaking, filled with despair and loneliness. "Get that hatch open," Amanda ordered. "Ma'am, the atmosphere," Dr. Hayes protested. "Emergency containment field. Do it now." The maintenance crew worked quickly to force the damaged hatch. When it finally opened with a hiss of escaping gases, they could see inside the small vessel. Sitting in what appeared to be a pilot's chair was a young alien female. She was humanoid in appearance, but with pale blue skin and silver hair that seemed to shimmer in the lights. Her large, dark eyes were filled with tears. The alien princess, for her clothing suggested royalty, looked up at Amanda with a mixture of fear and hope. She appeared to be no more than 20 years old by human standards. Her ornate dress was torn and stained, and there was a small cut on her forehead. "Please," the alien girl whispered, in accented but understandable English. "Help me! They killed everyone! My family, my people, everyone is gone." Amanda stepped forward, ignoring the protests of her security team. Something in the girl's eyes told her this was no deception. "You're safe now. We're going to help you." The alien princess tried to stand but collapsed, her legs too weak to support her. Amanda caught her before she could fall, feeling how light and fragile she seemed.
"What's your name?" Amanda asked gently.
"Princess Zara of the Celestial Kingdoms," the girl replied through her tears. "I am the last of my line." Princess Zara trembled in Amanda's arms as the medical team surrounded them with portable life support equipment. The alien girl's breathing was labored, and her pale blue skin had taken on an unhealthy gray tinge. Dr. Hayes ran her medical scanner over the princess while Amanda held her steady. "Severe dehydration and exhaustion," Hayes reported. "Her physiology is remarkably similar to human, but there are some key differences in her respiratory system. She needs immediate treatment." Amanda looked down at Zara, whose dark eyes were fixed on her with desperate trust. "Take her to medical bay too. I want your best team on this." As the medical personnel prepared to transport the princess, Zara grabbed Amanda's sleeve with surprising strength. "Please don't leave me alone," she whispered. "The darkness comes when I'm alone." "I'll stay with you," Amanda promised, walking alongside the medical stretcher as they moved through the corridors of the USS Liberty. The medical bay was a symphony of advanced equipment and soft lighting. Dr. Hayes and her team worked efficiently to stabilize their alien patient. Amanda stood nearby, watching as monitors displayed Zara's vital signs and patterns she didn't recognize but could see were gradually improving. "Tell me what happened," Amanda said softly, pulling a chair close to the medical bed. Zara's eyes filled with fresh tears. "The Void Hunters came to our system 3 days ago. They demanded we surrender our energy crystals, the source of all power in our civilization. When my father refused, they began destroying our worlds." Amanda felt a chill at the mention of the Void Hunters. Human intelligence had been tracking this mysterious faction for months, but this was their first direct encounter with their victims. "I was aboard the Royal flagship when they attacked our home world," Zara continued. "The ship was beautiful, Amanda. Golden spires reaching toward the stars, carrying 10,000 of our people to safety. But the hunters found us." The princess closed her eyes as if the memory was too painful to bear. "Their weapons are unlike anything we had seen. They don't just destroy matter, they consume it. The ship, the people, everything just disappeared into darkness." Dr. Hayes approached with a concerned expression. "Your Majesty, the princess's body is responding well to treatment, but her psychological trauma is severe. She's been alone in that escape pod for over 48 hours, surviving on emergency rations and recycled air." Amanda nodded, then turned back to Zara. "You're not alone anymore. My ship and my crew will protect you." "Why?" Zara asked, her voice barely audible. "Why would humans help me? Our species have never even met before." "Because it's the right thing to do," Amanda replied simply, "and because no one should have to face the darkness alone." Suddenly the ship's alert klaxon began sounding. Commander Phillips's voice echoed through the medical bay over the intercom system. "Red alert. Unknown vessels approaching at high speed. All hands to battle stations." Amanda stood immediately. "I have to go to the bridge." Zara struggled to sit up despite Dr. Hayes' protests. "It's them, the Void Hunters. They followed me." "How is that possible?" Amanda asked. "The escape pod's emergency beacon," Zara said, her voice filled with horror. "I forgot to disable it. They track all surviving witnesses." Amanda's blood ran cold. The Void Hunters were coming, and her ship was their target because they had rescued one survivor. She activated her personal communicator. "Bridge, this is the Queen. How many ships?" "3 vessels. Designation unknown," Phillips reported. "They're not responding to hail attempts, and their energy signatures are unlike anything in our database." Amanda looked at Zara, who is now sitting up despite her weakness. "I need to know everything you can tell me about their weapons and tactics." "They don't fight like normal enemies," Zara said urgently. "Their ships absorb energy. The more you shoot at them, the stronger they become. Conventional weapons make them more powerful." This was worse than Amanda had imagined. The USS Liberty was armed primarily with energy weapons, standard for human military vessels. If Zara was correct, their primary armaments would only strengthen their enemies. "What about kinetic weapons? Physical projectiles?" Amanda asked quickly. Yes, that might work, Zara said, hope creeping into her voice. Solid matter they cannot absorb easily. But you must also protect your energy sources. They drain power from everything around them. Amanda activated her communicator again. All departments, prepare for unconventional warfare. Switch to backup power systems and load kinetic rounds in all available missile tubes. Ma'am, kinetic weapons are primarily used for mining operations, Phillips responded. Not today, they're not. I'm on my way to the bridge. As Amanda prepared to leave, Zara called out to her. Amanda, there's something else. The Void Hunters don't just want to destroy us. They're searching for something specific. What? The Heart of Eternity. It's an ancient artifact from our civilization. The legends say it contains infinite energy, enough to power entire galactic civilizations. My father hid it before the final battle. This added a completely new dimension to the situation. Where is it? Zara looked down at her hands, tears forming in her eyes again. He gave it to me, told me to guard it with my life. I've been carrying it ever since. The princess reached into her torn dress and pulled out a small, crystalline object that seemed to contain swirling galaxies of light within its faceted surface. Even through the containment field, Amanda could feel the enormous power it contained. That's what they're really after, Amanda said, understanding flooding through her. Yes, and as long as I live, they will never stop hunting me. The bridge of the USS Liberty was a storm of controlled chaos as Amanda arrived. 3 massive ships appeared on the main view screen, their hulls so dark they seemed to absorb light itself. They moved with an unnatural silence through space, leaving trails of absolute blackness in their wake. Report, Amanda commanded as she took her command chair. 3 vessels, each approximately 800 meters in length, reported Ensign Brooks. They're maintaining distance but have us surrounded. No weapon signatures detected, but energy readings are off the charts. Commander Phillips looked grim. The strangest thing is what they're not doing. No shields, no visible weapons, but the space around them is completely dead. Even background cosmic radiation is being absorbed. Amanda studied the alien vessels on screen. They resembled enormous insects more than traditional starships, with segmented bodies and wing-like projections that seemed to flex and move. The surface of their hulls rippled like liquid metal. Incoming transmission, announced Communications Officer Walsh. On screen, the view screen shifted to show a figure that made Amanda's blood freeze. The being was humanoid but stretched and corrupted, as if someone had taken a person and drained all humanity from them. Its skin was gray and translucent, revealing dark veins beneath. When it spoke, its voice was like the whisper of dying stars. Human vessel, it said, you carry something that belongs to us. Surrender the princess and the artifact she carries, and your deaths will be swift. Amanda stood from her chair. I am Queen Amanda Martinez of the Human Colonial Empire. We do not negotiate with those who genocide entire civilizations. The creature's mouth twisted into something that might have been a smile. You misunderstand the nature of existence, young queen. Life is merely energy waiting to be consumed. We simply accelerate the natural process. You're wrong, Amanda replied firmly. Life creates energy. It doesn't just consume it. The Void Hunter's eyes, which were pools of absolute darkness, seemed to focus more intently on her. How amusing. The humans believe in the power of creation. You will learn otherwise. The transmission ended, and immediately the 3 alien vessels began to move. They didn't accelerate in the normal sense, but seemed to fold space around themselves, appearing closer with each passing second. All hands prepare for combat, Amanda ordered. Remember, use only kinetic weapons and maintain minimal power signatures. The first Void Hunter ship positioned itself directly in front of the Liberty. Without warning, it opened what could only be described as a mouth along its front section, revealing rows of energy-absorbing tendrils that reached out toward the human vessel. Evasive maneuvers, Amanda commanded. The Liberty rolled to starboard just as the tendrils passed through the space where they had been. Where the tendrils touched empty space, the stars themselves seemed to dim and fade. Firing kinetic missiles, reported Lieutenant Thompson from Tactical. A spread of solid metal projectiles launched from the Liberty's tubes, streaking toward the nearest Void Hunter ship. The alien vessel tried to absorb the kinetic energy but struggled with the physical matter. The missiles struck home, tearing visible wounds in the creature's hull. A sound came from the damaged ship that was felt rather than heard, a vibration that passed through the Liberty's hull and into the bones of everyone aboard. It was the sound of genuine pain. "It worked," Phillips said with amazement. "The kinetic weapons are effective." But their celebration was short-lived. The other two Void Hunter ships converged on the Liberty from opposite sides, their absorption fields creating a corridor of darkness that the human ship couldn't escape. "They're trying to trap us," Amanda realized. "Thompson, continuous kinetic fire on both vessels. Don't let them close the gap." The Liberty's remaining missile tubes launched their solid projectiles in a steady stream. The Void Hunters writhed and twisted to avoid the physical impacts while trying to maintain their trap formation. Suddenly, the lights on the bridge flickered and dimmed. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. "They're draining our power even without direct contact," Engineer Martinez reported from his station. "At this rate, we'll lose life support in 20 minutes. Amanda activated her communicator. "Medical bay, how is our guest?" Dr. Hayes's voice crackled with static. "The princess is stable but insisting on coming to the bridge. She says she has information that could help. Bring her up immediately." Within minutes, Princess Zara arrived on the bridge, supported by 2 medical technicians. Despite her weakened condition, her eyes were alert and determined. She carried the Heart of Eternity in her hands, its internal light pulsing with increasing intensity. "The artifact is responding to their presence," Zara explained. "It knows they're here." Amanda looked at the crystal, then at the Void Hunter ships on the view screen. "Can you use it as a weapon?" "Not as a weapon," Zara said, her voice growing stronger. "As a shield. The Heart of Eternity doesn't just contain energy. It creates energy. It's the opposite of what they are." One of the Void Hunter ships was approaching dangerously close, its absorption field beginning to affect the Liberty's hull. Metal plates were starting to corrode and fade where the darkness touched them. "Show me how to use it," Amanda said. Zara held out the crystal artifact. "Take my hand and focus on creation instead of destruction. Think about everything you want to protect, everyone you love." Amanda grasped Zara's hand, feeling the incredible warmth that radiated from the Heart of Eternity. The crystal began to glow brighter, and suddenly the bridge was filled with pure, brilliant light. The effect on the Void Hunter ships was immediate and dramatic. They recoiled from the light as if it physically pained them. The darkness around their hulls began to dissipate, revealing technology that seemed organic and corrupted. "It's working," Phillips reported. "They're falling back." But the largest Void Hunter ship, the one that had first spoken to them, was not retreating. Instead, it was gathering the darkness from its companions, growing larger and more substantial. "Amanda," Zara said urgently, "the leader is absorbing power from the others. It's going to try something desperate." The massive alien vessel opened multiple mouths along its hull, each one containing swirling vortices of absolute nothingness. It was preparing to devour the Liberty and everything on board. "Hold on, everyone," Amanda said grimly. "This is about to get interesting." The bridge of the USS Liberty shook violently as the massive Void Hunter vessel unleashed its full power. Streams of darkness shot out from its multiple mouths, seeking to drain every particle of energy from the human ship. Emergency lights flickered and died throughout the vessel, leaving only the brilliant glow of the Heart of Eternity to illuminate the command center. Amanda maintained her grip on Princess Zara's hand as the alien artifact pulsed with increasing intensity. The crystal seemed to be fighting a battle of fundamental forces, creation against destruction, light against darkness so complete it consumed reality itself. "Hull integrity dropping rapidly," shouted Engineer Martinez over the groaning of stressed metal. "The ship's molecular structure is breaking down." Commander Phillips was working frantically at her console with barely enough light to see. "Life support is failing on decks 7 through 12. We're losing artificial gravity." Amanda could feel crew members throughout the ship, their life forces dimming as the Void Hunter's attack intensified. But she could also feel something else through her connection to the Heart of Eternity. The artifact wasn't just defending them, it was learning from them. "Zara," Amanda said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "The crystal is responding to human emotions, our determination, Our refusal to give up. Princess Zara nodded, her pale blue skin now glowing with reflected light from the artifact. Yes, I can feel it too. Your species has something that mine lost long ago. What's that? Hope in the face of certain death. The largest Void Hunter ship was now so close that its shadow fell across the Liberty's bridge. Through the view screen, they could see into one of its hungry mouths. Inside was not machinery or technology, but something that resembled a living throat lined with teeth made of crystallized despair. All remaining kinetic weapons fire at will, Amanda commanded. The Liberty's last missile tubes emptied their contents into the approaching monster. Solid metal projectiles tore through the creature's hide, causing it to emit that bone-deep vibration of pain. But it continued its approach, seeming to feed on the very destruction being inflicted upon it. Suddenly, Communications Officer Walsh looked up from his darkened console. Incoming transmission from the Void Hunter leader. Put it through on audio only. The voice that filled the bridge was different now, strained and filled with something that might have been confusion. Human Queen, your resistance is futile, yet it continues. Why do you not embrace the peace of non-existence? Amanda looked at Zara, then at her bridge crew, all of whom were maintaining their posts despite the failing systems around them. Because existence is worth fighting for. Every life, every moment, every possibility that hasn't happened yet. Impossible. All things decay. All energy dissipates. We merely hasten the inevitable. You're wrong, Amanda replied, feeling strength flow through her from the heart of eternity. Energy doesn't just dissipate. It transforms. It becomes something new. The artifact in Zara's hands suddenly blazed with light so intense that the view screen had to adjust its filters. The beam of pure creative energy shot out from the crystal and struck the Void Hunter vessel directly. What happened next was extraordinary. Instead of being destroyed, the alien ship began to change. The corrupted organic sections of its hull started to regenerate, not into their previous dark form, but into something that resembled living coral, beautiful and complex. What's happening to it? Phillips asked in amazement. Zara stared at the artifact in her hands with new understanding. The heart of eternity isn't just creating energy, it's restoring what was lost. The Void Hunters weren't always like this. On the view screen, they watched as the massive alien vessel continued its transformation. The dark, hungry mouths were closing and being replaced by what looked like windows or observation ports. The ship's movement changed from predatory stalking to something more like curiosity. A new voice came over the communication system, still alien but no longer filled with the echo of emptiness. "What have you done to us?" it asked, and for the first time, there was emotion in the words. Amanda squeezed Zara's hand more tightly. "What?" "We reminded you what you used to be." The transformed Void Hunter ship was now approaching slowly, its movements careful and deliberate rather than aggressive. As it came closer, they could see that its hull was now transparent in places, revealing what appeared to be gardens and living spaces inside. "We remember," the voice said, wonder creeping in. "We were explorers once, scientists. We sought to understand the universe, not consume it." "What happened to you?" Zara asked softly. "We found something in the void between galaxies, an ancient hunger that promised us power over entropy itself. It consumed our curiosity and left only appetite in its place. We forgot who we were." The other two Void Hunter ships were also beginning to transform, their dark hulls brightening and changing shape. The oppressive dark mist that had surrounded them was lifting, revealing space filled with stars that seemed brighter than before. Dr. Hayes' voice crackled through the ship's communication system. "Medical bay to bridge. We're reading massive biochemical changes throughout the ship. It's like the crew is recovering from some kind of cellular damage they didn't even know they had." Amanda realized that the heart of eternity's effect was spreading beyond the alien vessels. It was healing damage that the Void Hunter's presence had caused to everything around them, including her own people. "The artifact isn't just a weapon or a tool," she said to Zara. "It's a force of restoration." "Yes," Zara agreed. "And it responds to the intentions of those who use it. Your people's desire to help rather than harm, to preserve rather than destroy, that's what shaped its power." the lead alien vessel, now completely transformed into something that looked more like a living reef than a ship, positioned itself alongside the Liberty. Beings could be seen moving within its transparent sections, no longer the corrupted shadows they had been, but restored to forms that suggested intelligence and dignity. Human Queen Amanda Martinez, the alien leader, said, its voice now warm with genuine emotion. You have given us back our souls. How can we repay such a gift? Amanda looked around her bridge at her crew, then at Princess Zara, who was smiling for the first time since they had found her. Help us protect others, Amanda said simply. There must be more civilizations out there facing destruction. Help us stop it. We know the locations of 17 species currently under attack by Void Hunter fleets that have not yet been restored, the alien replied. Will you come with us? Amanda felt a surge of determination. This was bigger than one rescue, bigger than one battle. This was the beginning of something that could change the entire galaxy. Set course for the nearest system under attack, she commanded her crew. We have work to do. The USS Liberty traveled through hyperspace alongside 3 newly restored Seraph vessels, as the former Void Hunters now called themselves. Princess Zara had remained on the bridge, the heart of eternity never leaving her hands as she worked with the ship's science team to understand the artifact's true capabilities. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our database, reported Science Officer Catherine Bell, studying readings from the crystal. It appears to generate matter and energy from quantum fluctuations in space-time itself. Amanda stood at the main view screen, watching the swirling tunnel of hyperspace. They were heading toward the Kepler system, where the Seraph leader, who now called himself Navigator Themel, had reported an ongoing Void Hunter attack against a species called the Verdani. EDA to the Kepler system? Amanda asked. 6 hours at current speed, replied Navigator Brooks. The Seraph vessels are faster than us, but they're matching our pace. Zara approached Amanda, the artifact pulsing gently in her hands. I've been thinking about what happened during the battle. The Heart of Eternity didn't just heal the Void Hunters. It showed them a reflection of what they could become. What do you mean? The artifact responds to consciousness, to the deepest desires and intentions of those who wield it. When you touched it while thinking about protecting life, rather than destroying it, it amplified that intention across space. Amanda studied the princess carefully. Are you saying it reads minds? Not exactly minds, but souls maybe. The fundamental nature of what drives a being. Zara held up the crystal, its internal light casting rainbow patterns on the bridge walls. My people created this artifact not as a weapon, but as a tool for understanding. It reveals truth. Commander Phillips looked up from her station. That would explain why the Void Hunters were so desperate to obtain it. If it reveals the truth about what they had become, they would see it as a threat. Or perhaps they unconsciously sought it out because some part of them wanted to be healed, Zara suggested. The ship suddenly dropped out of hyperspace, and the main view screen showed the Kepler system in chaos. 2 blue-green worlds orbited a yellow star, but even from this distance, they could see the dark shapes of Void Hunter vessels attacking what appeared to be massive space stations, shaped like flowering plants. My God, whispered Engineer Martinez. There must be dozens of them. Navigator Thimel's voice came through the communication system. The Verdani are a peaceful species. They build their cities in space, growing them like gardens. The Void Hunters have been consuming their population centers for 3 days. Amanda could see through the view screen that several of the beautiful space gardens were already dark and lifeless, drained of all energy. But others were still fighting, their crystalline petals firing beams of concentrated sunlight at the attacking dark vessels. How many Verdane survivors? Amanda asked. Our sensors detect approximately 40,000 life forms remaining, down from an estimated population of 12 million, Science Officer Bell reported grimly. The scale of the genocide was staggering, but Amanda felt no despair. Instead, she felt the same determination that had driven her throughout her military career. Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat operations. As the Liberty and the 3 Seraph vessels approached the battle, Amanda could see the Verdani space cities more clearly. They were magnificent, looking like enormous flowers blooming in the vacuum of space. Each petal was a habitat section covered in transparent aluminum, filled with gardens and living spaces. The stems were docking bays and industrial areas. The Verdunais are trying to evacuate to the planet's surface, reported Lieutenant Thompson from Tactical. But the Void Hunters are intercepting the escape pods. Amanda watched in horror as streams of darkness reached out from the attacking vessels, dissolving fleeing civilian craft before they could reach planetary atmosphere. Zara, how large an area can the Heart of Eternity affect? Amanda asked urgently. The princess closed her eyes, seeming to commune with the artifact. I don't know the limits. During our battle, it affected everything within several hundred kilometers. Could it reach across an entire star system? Maybe? But the energy required would be enormous. It might drain the life force from everyone on this ship. Amanda looked at her bridge crew, seeing the determination in their faces. It's their choice to make. She activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, this is the Queen. We have the power to save the Verdani civilization and heal the Void Hunters attacking them. But it will require every person on this ship to contribute their life force to the effort. This is voluntary. Anyone who chooses not to participate should report to the sealed sections immediately. For several long minutes, reports came in from all departments. Not a single crew member chose to withdraw from the attempt. Ma'am, Dr. Hayes reported from medical. I respectfully request that anyone with medical training remain at minimum participation to treat potential casualties. Approved. Amanda took Zara's hand as she had during the previous battle, but this time she could feel the connection spreading throughout the ship. 500 crew members joined their consciousness to the power of the Heart of Eternity. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. The artifact blazed with light so intense that it could be seen from the attacking Void Hunter vessels across the system. But this time, the light didn't simply radiate outward. It moved with purpose and intelligence. Streams of healing energy reached out toward every dark vessel in the system. As each beam made contact, the same transformation that had occurred earlier began again. Dark hulls became transparent and beautiful. Hungry mouths closed and became observation windows. The oppressive darkness that surrounded each ship lifted and dissipated. But the most remarkable thing was what happened to the damaged Verdani space cities. The healing light began to restore what had been lost. Drained sections regained their color and transparency. Gardens that had been reduced to ash began to bloom again. And most incredibly, life signs began to reappear in areas that had been completely dead. It's bringing them back, Zara whispered in amazement. The Heart of Eternity is actually reversing death itself. Through the ship's communication system, they could hear voices speaking in the melodic language of the Verdani, followed by translations from the universal language computers. The gardens live again. Our people return to us. The light brings back what was lost. Navigator Thymel's voice joined the chorus of wonder. Queen Amanda, 43 Void Hunter vessels have been restored to their original nature. They speak of a species called the Architects, devoted to building rather than destroying. Amanda felt the life force of her crew flowing through the connection to the Heart of Eternity. But instead of feeling drained, she felt energized. The artifact wasn't taking their energy, it was multiplying it, creating more than it used. The Heart of Eternity isn't just healing the damage, she realized. It's teaching the universe how to heal itself. On the view screen, they watched as the restored Architect vessels began working alongside the Verdani to repair the damaged space cities. The former enemies were now cooperating to rebuild what had been destroyed. Princess Zara, Amanda said softly, your people didn't create a weapon. They created a catalyst for evolution itself. Zara smiled, tears streaming down her face as she watched civilizations being reborn before their eyes. My father would be so proud. But even as they celebrated this victory, Amanda knew their work was just beginning. There were 17 systems under attack, and thousands more civilizations that would need their help in the years to come. Set course for the next system, she commanded. We have a galaxy to heal. The USS Liberty emerged from hyperspace into the Arcturus system to find a battle unlike any they had witnessed before. The local species called the Crystari had built their civilization inside massive asteroid mines, but these weren't typical mining operations. The asteroids had been hollowed out and filled with living crystals that pulsed with bioluminescent energy. Incredible, breathed Science Officer Bell as the main view screen displayed the scene. They've created symbiotic relationships with silicon-based life forms, but the beauty of the Crystal Cities was being systematically destroyed by a Void Hunter fleet that had learned from previous defeats. These attackers had modified their approach, using smaller, faster vessels that could drain energy in quick strikes before retreating. Count 18 Void Hunter vessels employing hit-and-run tactics, reported Lieutenant Thompson. They're not engaging in direct confrontation. Princess Zara studied the tactical display with the Heart of Eternity glowing in her hands. The artifact had grown brighter since their success in the Kepler system, as if each act of healing had increased its power. They've learned to be afraid, she observed. These Void Hunters know what happened to their allies. Navigator Thymal's voice came through from his Seraph vessel. Queen Amanda, the Crystari, are sending desperate calls for assistance. Their crystal partners are dying from energy drain faster than the Crystari themselves. Amanda watched as one of the beautiful crystal asteroids went dark, its bioluminescent glow fading to black as a Void Hunter vessel completed its feeding and retreated to the outer system. How many Crystari and their crystal partners remain? Approximately 8 million Crystari and 30 million crystal entities, answered Science Officer Bell. But the numbers are dropping rapidly. Amanda made a quick decision. Thompson, prepare a spread of kinetic missiles. Phillips, take us into the asteroid field. We're going to draw their attention. Ma'am, fighting in an asteroid field puts us at a significant disadvantage, Phillips warned. Not if we're not trying to win through combat, Amanda replied. She turned to Zara. Can you extend the Heart of Eternity's influence while we're moving? I've never tried, but with your crew's help, maybe. The Liberty plunged into the asteroid field, its massive hull weaving between the crystal cities with surprising grace. Almost immediately, 3 Void Hunter vessels converged on them, their dark forms moving like sharks through the glittering space. All hands, prepare for healing protocol, Amanda announced shipwide. This time, we're doing it while under fire. The connection formed more quickly than before, 500 souls joining their consciousness through the bridge where Amanda and Zara stood holding the Heart of Eternity. The artifact responded immediately, sending out pulses of healing energy even as the Void Hunter vessels began their attack. The first pulse struck the nearest attacker, and the familiar transformation began. But this time, something different happened. As the dark vessel began to change back into its original form, it transmitted a message that spread to every Void Hunter ship in this system. Brothers, remember who you were. Remember the joy of discovery? The effect was like a virus of consciousness spreading through the enemy fleet. One by one, Void Hunter vessels began stopping their attacks, their crews struggling to remember their original purpose. But not all of them were ready to be healed. The largest Void Hunter ship, a massive predator that dwarfed even the Liberty, resisted the transformation. Its hunger was so deep and ancient that it had forgotten it had ever been anything else. That one, Zara said with concern, has been a Void Hunter for so long that healing might destroy it completely. The resistant vessel began to glow with dark energy, preparing to unleash an attack that could drain the life from multiple crystal asteroids at once. Amanda could see Crystari evacuation ships fleeing from the threatened areas. We have to try, Amanda decided. All power to the Heart of Eternity. The crystal artifact blazed with unprecedented brilliance as the entire crew of the Liberty poured their life force into the healing effort. The beam of light that struck the massive Void Hunter vessel was like a star being born. The ancient predator writhed and convulsed as the healing energy fought against millennia of accumulated darkness. For a terrifying moment, it seemed like the vessel might explode, taking several crystal cities with it. Then, slowly, impossibly, it began to change. I remember. A voice whispered across all communication frequencies. I remember the first star we cataloged. The first planet we helped bring to life. We were gardeners once tending the cosmic garden. The massive vessel transformed into something magnificent. Where there had been a dark predator, now floated a ship that looked like a living nebula, filled with swirling colors and lights. It was beautiful beyond description. We called ourselves the Cultivators, the ancient being continued. We helped young civilizations develop, guided them toward wisdom and harmony, until the hunger found us in the deep dark between galaxies. The other transformed vessels were now working with the Seraph ships to help restore the damaged crystal cities. The healing light from the Heart of Eternity wasn't just fixing the drained crystals, it was making them stronger and more beautiful than before. Princess Zara, the ancient cultivator, contacted them directly. Your artifact has given us back not just our memories, but our purpose. There are others like us, ancient species that fell to the hunger. With your permission, we would like to seek them out and offer healing. Amanda looked at Zara, who nodded with understanding. The Heart of Eternity isn't meant to remain in one place. It's meant to spread healing throughout the galaxy. But we'll need guides, Amanda said. People who understand the true nature of what we're trying to accomplish. Navigator Thymel's voice joined the conversation. The Seraph fleet will serve as escort and support. We owe you our sanity and our souls. The ancient cultivator ship moved closer to the Liberty, its nebula-like hull pulsing with gentle light. I know the locations of 12 ancient species that were corrupted by the hunger. Some have been lost for millions of years. Amanda felt a surge of excitement mixed with determination. This was bigger than she had ever imagined. They weren't just stopping individual attacks, they were healing the fundamental damage that had been done to the galaxy over cosmic ages. Science Officer Bell, Amanda commanded, begin preparations for extended deep space operations. We're going to be out here for a long time. Aye, ma'am. Should I begin recruiting additional medical and scientific staff from the colonies? Yes, and send messages to Earth Command. They need to know what we've discovered out here. Princess Zara approached Amanda with the Heart of Eternity still glowing in her hands. There's something else. The artifact is showing me visions of where the hunger originally came from. There's a source, Amanda. Something in the void between galaxies that started all of this. Amanda felt a chill of anticipation. Are you saying we can find the root cause? I think so. But it will be dangerous beyond anything we've faced so far. The hunger isn't just a force of destruction. It's intelligent, and it knows we're coming for it. Looking out at the restored crystal cities, now more beautiful than ever as they pulse with renewed life, Amanda made her decision. Then we'll be ready for it. Send word to all allied vessels. We're going hunting. The fleet had grown beyond Amanda's wildest expectations. What had started as one human dreadnought and 3 Seraph vessels had become an armada of 47 ships representing 12 different species. The ancient cultivator vessel, now called the Harmony, served as the flagship for their operation, its nebula-like hull providing a mobile base for the Heart of Eternity. Princess Zara stood in the observation deck of the USS Liberty, watching as the combined fleet prepared for the most dangerous mission in galactic history. The Heart of Eternity had evolved during their months of healing corrupted species, its crystalline structure now containing what appeared to be miniature galaxies swirling within its depths. Final approach to the galactic rim, announced Commander Phillips from the bridge. All vessels report ready for transition to intergalactic space. Amanda joined Zara at the observation windows. Beyond the last scattered stars of their galaxy, absolute darkness waited. Not the darkness of normal space filled with distant lights, but a void so complete it seemed to push back against their perception. The hunger originated out there, Zara said softly, the artifact pulsing in response to her words. Something older than our galaxy, older than most of the universe itself. Through their months of healing corrupted species, they had learned fragments of the truth. The hunger was not a natural force, but something that had been created, a weapon designed to consume entire realities. But by whom and why remained a mystery. All vessels, this is Queen Amanda Martinez, she broadcast to the fleet. What we're about to face may be beyond anything the universe has ever encountered, but we've learned that creation is stronger than consumption, hope more powerful than despair. Stay together and remember what we're fighting for. The cultivator ship Harmony responded first. My queen, our sensors detect massive structures in the void ahead. They appear to be constructed from the remains of consumed galaxies. Structures? Amanda asked with growing horror. Artificial constructs, each one larger than our entire galaxy. There are thousands of them, arranged in patterns that suggest intelligence. The fleet moved forward into the intergalactic void, and gradually the structures became visible. They were pyramids and spheres and shapes that had no names, built from the compressed matter of entire galactic clusters. Each one pulsed with the dark energy of the hunger. "My God," whispered Science Officer Bell. "It's not just consuming galaxies. It's building something." Princess Zara suddenly gasped, the heart of eternity flaring with intense light. "I can see what it's trying to create. Amanda, it's building a machine to consume reality itself. Not just matter and energy, but the very concepts of existence." Navigator Thymel's voice crackled with urgency. "Contact bearing dead ahead. Something massive is emerging from the central structure." The thing that appeared before their fleet was beyond description. It was part living creature, part artificial construct, and part corrupted force of nature. It dwarfed their combined vessels like a moon dwarfs pebbles. When it spoke, its voice was the sound of universes dying. "So, the little healers have come to face the entropy engine. How delightfully feudal." Amanda stepped forward in the Liberty's command center. "We're here to stop you from destroying reality." "Stop me?" The entity's laughter was the sound of stars going supernova. "Child, I am older than your concept of time. I have consumed the birth cries of creation itself. I am entropy given consciousness. Death with purpose. Then why do you need to build machines?" Zara challenged, raising the heart of eternity. "If you're truly all-powerful, why do you need to construct devices to accomplish your goals?" For the first time, the entity seemed surprised. "Clever little crystal bearer. You see the truth, don't you? I am not entropy itself, merely its servant. The universe has grown too complex, too full of unnecessary complexity. My masters sent me to simplify it." "Your masters?" Amanda demanded. "The architects of absolute order. They exist in the spaces between realities, where perfect mathematical precision reigns supreme. They find this messy, chaotic, creative universe disturbing. I am their solution." The entity began to move toward their fleet, its passage through space leaving trails of absolute nothingness. "But you have complicated my work with your healing light. The patterns I had established are unraveling. For that, you must be eliminated." Zara looked at Amanda with sudden understanding. "The heart of eternity isn't just a tool for healing. It's a fragment of the original creative force that brought the universe into existence. That's why it can restore what has been lost." "Then use it," Amanda said firmly. "Amanda, if I channel enough power to affect something that large, it might destroy everyone on every ship in our fleet." Amanda activated the fleet-wide communication system. "All vessels, this is Queen Martinez. We need every conscious being in our fleet to join the healing protocol. This isn't just about one ship or one crew anymore. This is about saving the very concept of existence." The response was immediate. From human and Seraph, from Verdani and Crystari, from 12 different species that had been saved from corruption, came the united will to preserve reality itself. The heart of eternity blazed with light so intense that it could be seen from the distant galaxy they had left behind. But this time, the light didn't just radiate outward. It sang. The song was creation itself, the fundamental vibration that had brought matter and energy into being at the dawn of time. It was the opposite of entropy, the antithesis of the hunger, the pure expression of infinite possibility. The entity recoiled as if physically struck. Impossible. The song of Genesis was silenced eons ago. "Not silenced," Zara said, her voice carrying across space itself. "Hidden, waiting for the right moment, the right harmony of willing souls to bring it back." The song spread outward from their fleet, touching the massive constructs built from consumed galaxies. But instead of destroying them, it began to reverse the process that had created them. Dead worlds bloomed back into life. Consumed civilizations found themselves restored, their people returning to existence with their memories and cultures intact. The entity began to scream, a sound that shattered the artificial structures around it. "You don't understand. Without order, without limits, the universe will expand forever, create forever, become infinitely complex." "Yes," Amanda said simply, "that's the point." The heart of eternity pulsed one final time, and the song of Genesis reached the entity itself. For a moment, Amanda thought it would be destroyed. Instead, something even more remarkable happened. The corrupted servant of entropy began to remember what it had been before its masters had found it. It had been a gardener, like so many others, tending young realities and helping them grow. The hunger, the need to consume and simplify had been imposed upon it against its will. "I remember," it whispered, its voice now filled with wonder instead of horror. "I remember the first flower I helped bloom in the infant universe. I remember the joy of watching new stars ignite." The entity began to transform, darkness falling away to reveal something magnificent. It became a being of pure creative energy, larger than worlds but gentle as a whisper. "My name was Cosmos," it said. "I was a shepherd of realities. My masters made me forget, made me believe that entropy was the highest virtue." Princess Zara felt the heart of eternity pulse with satisfaction. The healing is complete, not just of individual beings or species, but of the fundamental forces that shape reality. Amanda looked out at the fleet of restored and allied vessels, at the galaxies that were being reborn from the scattered constructs, at the infinite possibilities that stretched out before them. "Our work isn't finished," she said to Zara. "There are still the architects of absolute order to deal with." Cosmos, the restored cosmic entity, turned its attention to their small fleet. They exist between realities, in the spaces where mathematics reigns supreme. But they fear the Song of Genesis, for it brings chaos and creativity to their perfect equations. "Then we'll teach them to appreciate a little chaos," Amanda said with a smile. As their fleet prepared for the next phase of their impossible mission, Amanda realized that they had become something unprecedented in the history of the universe, a force dedicated not to conquest or survival, but to ensuring that reality itself remained free to grow, create, and become whatever it chose to be. The heart of eternity pulsed with the combined will of thousands of beings from dozens of species, all united in the simple belief that existence was worth preserving and protecting. And in the spaces between realities, the architects of absolute order felt something they had never experienced before: uncertainty about the perfection of their plans. The Song of Genesis continued to spread, reality bloomed with infinite possibilities, and the universe prepared for its next chapter of impossible wonders.